Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I want to talk today about beyond sort of dealing with red flags in toxic cycles and with narcissists. So some communication tools, some ways to know what to do with this, right? Red flag is like a sign that there could be a narcissist, a toxic person, something wrong with the way this person is going to treat you, basically. So first of all, I want you to take your time and be in your body, because a narcissist and a manipulator will always keep you in your head and out and try and sort of gaslight you, so manipulate, which means just manipulate you, out of your senses, out of your physical senses, out of your logical senses, to be honest. So stay in your body. Don't just get caught up with them. Stay in your own energy field. Put your hands on your body and your chest. Stay in your body. And when they're talking, feel into what they're saying, right? If your intuition is something's off, the thing that keeps people stuck is that we feel something's off, but we don't know what it is. So people will say, I feel something's off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't think they're being honest, but I don't quite know what's going on. And we can't often get in the mind of a narcissist because it's so distorted to us, so not being able to know why. I mean, narcissists will lie about everything, by the way, not even things that are worth lying about in our minds. Why would they lie about that? It's just what they do. So you don't need to get too far. Just be true to where you are. Don't go too far. Be true to where you are. Where I am is something feels off about this person. Something feels off about what they said to me. Sometimes you have a conversation with someone, and because, again, toxic people, narcissists, manipulators, sometimes they'll say things and you can feel the energy. A lot of this is in the energy transmission, is not what they're saying. Oh, you look nice. I had someone at work, a complete narcissist, years and years ago, and she thought she was really trendy. She'd wear her jeans to work. She was at higher seniority to me at the time. She actually got fired from that company, not for being a narcissist, but for being, I think, other things that are associated with it. But she said, oh, you look very corporate today. And I was young, and I just said, thank you. I'd taken pride in wearing smarter clothes to wear. She was saying it to be mean, and afterwards, when I thought, what's wrong with what she said to me? Oh, she was having a dig at me, right? So it wasn't a direct insult, but she was actually belittling me, saying, I don't like your style. I don't like what you're wearing. I'm cooler than you because I'm wearing some jeans and a blazer. Woohoo, So she was being nasty, but at the time, I actually didn't know. Sometimes they'll deliver something which is like cryptic. They're having a go at you, but sometimes you're not even going to understand it because you don't even know why they want to have a go at you. Sometimes they'll be more direct. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, nice this, or it's small little digs. Only a very aggressive, overt one will give you direct, blatant insults. And that's not likely to happen unless you're in certain arguments or relationship already quite trapped by them. Most of them, a lot of stuff goes on under the surface, but you can feel the energy, that smug smirk, even if they haven't got the smirk on their face, which they often do, the narcissistic smirk, you feel it. So you know how you feel. I've had a client that was a narcissist, and she would, I made her a lot of money, helped her make a lot of money in her business and what I was doing with her. And she'd always bring up, the payment she had to make, because I let her have a monthly payment rather than an upfront payment in that case. And she'd make a big deal of it. Oh yeah, I've got your payment coming up. So I'm feeling like a burden, even though she's already out-earned my contract that she didn't pay for in the end because she was a narcissist. She would always try and guilt trip me. The guilt trips, the implied, not direct, But emotional manipulation would always try and put me on eggshells. Why would she do that? So that I'd overgive. So I'd think, oh God, she's not going to pay her invoice, or, I was relying on that. So then I'd start, because she'd always be trying to get more out of me, narcissist, she'd then, that I would then overgive. That's the fawn response in trauma response, people pleaser response, yes. But it's still toxic. Me overgiving was depleting my energy, completely draining me and keeping me feeling very insecure in the relationship. So how you feel will tell you if there's a red flag. If you are feeling walking on eggshells, like you're being guilt tripped, that you know something's off, that everything comes with a backhanded slap, this is a toxic person. So many of us are not seeing that, and we're thinking, well, I'm just insecure, I'm too sensitive, all the things they've brainwashed you to believe. Oh, she doesn't mean it. I used to think about my client, maybe she doesn't mean it, maybe she's just thinking, I did ask her once, why do you keep bringing this up? Oh, well, I just wanted to let you know, just in case I don't make it, to your payment. I mean, that's just not it, So she wasn't doing it. She was doing it so that I'd overgive. She's doing it as a form of control. She's doing it to take me away from my boundaries, values and standards, make me feel guilty, make me feel under pressure and insecure, and overgive. That's what it was about. So you might see it. So when you come into your body, notice how you're feeling, because these things get worse with toxic people. This is just the tip of the iceberg of how bad it gets, and how bad you feel about yourself, how unsure you'll feel, how insecure you'll feel, how walking on eggshells you'll feel, how much you're likely to start falling, which is the people pleasing. And it is toxic because it's not authentic. It's a trauma response, informed response, or people pleasing is when we manipulate people to like us, but we're not being ourselves. Anyone that likes you because you have to be someone else to get liked by them is not worth being your friend. Don't go for it. Yeah? You've got to be authentic, right? Because what's the point of being liked by people who don't even know you, right? The narcissist wants you to be someone else who they need you to be. And you play that role. None of those people are being true. So the love relationship happens with this illusion of who the narcissist projects they are, right? With the real you. And the rest of the time, you're having to be the false you and they're being the false them. No love or like or respect is worth having if it's not coming from a true place for the real you. Now, when you're being true, it's not to put your truth on everyone. No, in appropriate context. You don't get to just go around the planet spilling your truth on people who are not consenting to hear it. But in relationships, you want to be true to you. So one way to avoid the red flags is be true to you. What would I do in hindsight? At that woman at my work that said, you look very corporate today, what would I do today with the insight I've got? Either leave it and just know that she's not someone for me, or if I wanted to confront her, I would have said, are you trying to insult me? That's what I would say today. I'd call it out that way. I wouldn't say, you're doing this and you're such a bitch and you're a complete narcissist, but I'd either walk away, or if I was feeling a bit feisty, which these days, I'm a little bit more feisty than very much more than I would have ever have been. I was much more of a little house mouse before. If I wanted to put back in a little, to stop her venting at me, basically, I would say, you're trying to insult me. And ask the question, are you trying to make me feel bad? Yeah? It's not about the clothing, it's about how she's trying to bring me down. You right? What would I do? Well, with the client, I did tell her it's inappropriate. But so when you ask a question back, they don't expect it. It throws them off. Are you trying to make me feel uncomfortable? Yeah? When they try and guilt trip you, are you trying to make me feel uncomfortable? Yeah, you can say that. I'd appreciate you not bringing that up. It doesn't seem appropriate. It's part of your contract. Or you can just ask them about a question about their motives, but ask it innocently, but not if you're in danger with them. So your feelings are everything. You've got a built-in human lie detector and a built-in human BS detector. The BS is natural language like English and French, and narcissists and toxic people are fluent in it. It's natural language. It should have its own dictionary. But you can ask questions, but you've got to take a pause, right? A lot of the time in toxic dynamics, we'd be better off to see. I used to react all the time to try and make things nice. I didn't like any kind of conflict, so I'd want to just smooth it over. A narcissist, a toxic person, will keep you on emotional highs and lows, and when your emotions are high, your logic goes down. And so I would just agree to things just to try and keep the peace, but things I didn't want to do. Or I would just say, it's okay, just to quickly talk and get the problem away. I would try and talk the problem away and not take my time to actually think. So another tool you can use, other than the questions I've just given you, is things like, you know, if you've caught them in a lie, right? And the challenge with catching a narcissist in a lie is you're going to, you know, people go on these wild, for years, goose chase, trying to find the truth. The narcissist will never give you the truth. They'll take it to the grave if they can, a lot of the time. Or they will sting you with the truth when they're about to discard you, to make sure you are so trauma bonded to them when they leave, because they want to cause pain that you can't forget. This is how bad they are. Right? So they might give you some of the truth right when they're about to discard you, so that it stings so bad that that trauma bond kicks in and keeps you connected to them, because you're going to want answers, you're going to want closure, and that pain is how they'll keep connected to you in the energy field. So sick, but so true. So if you can take a pause and say to people, when they're saying something like, you know, you're catching a lie, you're questioning the truth, can you let me think about it? I'll come back to you later. I need to give it a moment's thought, because you're probably in the height of the moment not going to give the best questions. What I found was I'd agree to things too quickly. I had to really learn, especially with toxic people or just people who I didn't really want to hang out with, to pause and say, can I let you know about that? I need to go now. Can I let you know about that later? I need to think about that. So narcissist forced relationships. There was a woman who I gave my number to, and I wish I hadn't, and I knew it was going to go bad. In hindsight, what would I have said to her? You know, I'm not really giving my number out unless it's close friends. Let's just see how the relationship goes. I'd changed the way I did things. I'd have paused. I'd have waited on giving too much too soon, which is what we do in these cycles. Now, being enthusiastic with healthier people is fine, but with narcissists, it's a disaster. You know, so it's not about being guarded. It's about when your feelings are off, telling you something's off, trust that first, take your time, reflect, don't agree to anything. And if you're questioning a lie, and what they're saying isn't quite adding up, you might have more questions. Then say, look, I need to think about what you said. I'll get back to you and see if when I've actually had some time to think, and see if I've got any more questions for you. Boundaries. They're always going to want to push your boundaries. The challenge with that is once they've pushed a boundary, now they're allowed to push the boundary and you've consented to it. So it's not a real boundary. So you've got to review your boundaries and standards and see what your deal breakers are. And when you want to reset them in the relationship, say, look, I know you've pushed these boundaries, or we've slipped into this cycle, but my boundary is this, which means that if I see this behavior, I'm out, right? My standard is working towards this, this, and this. I teach this in Sovereign. So, like, what I would like to see in the relationship is this. If you can meet me there, we can carry on. But as soon as, if it goes anywhere near here, I'm out. You've got to communicate it. Powerful ways to communicate it are when we can look at it and say very clearly what the outcome is we want. So this is what I'm seeing in our relationship. This is what's good about it. This is what the problem is. What I need to happen to stay connected with you is for these things, right? If we use I language, we're powerful because we take it on. It doesn't cause so much conflict. Because if I say, you just don't care about me, you don't care about how I feel, that's all projection, and that will always go wrong. And that's why a lot of conflict happens. But if I say, I am not feeling heard in this relationship. So what I need to happen, you've got to be very specific and outcome focused though. What I need to happen is that we do sit down, or I let you know when I need to talk about something, we find a good time, we sit down, I need for you to hear me out, and I need us to agree something that we will change because of it, that we can both agree to. And if we can't agree on it, then I have to decide what I'm going to do about it. Because to be fair, right, in relationships, a lot of people are allowing dynamics they're not happy with sometimes, and then resenting and attacking the other person. This isn't necessarily narcissistic relationships, but it applies everywhere. We don't have the right to do that, because we've got to stick by ourselves. If you say this is what I want and someone cannot give you what you want, then it is your job to make a decision. If your decision is to stay with that person, then I don't agree with doing this at all with narcissists. I don't agree with trying to bend yourself out of shape to fit in with someone else, because it will always be hard for your spirit, your soul, and it will hurt your authenticity. It will be very dangerous for you to do it. But a lot of us are bending ourselves out of shapes to try and fit in with narcissists and toxic people. I highly don't recommend it. But if you are choosing to stay in a dynamic, then fighting against what the dynamic is also going to cause a lot of resistance and not get you anywhere, you see. So if your only choice is to give up on yourself, dispose of yourself, self-abandon, self-sacrifice, you've got to get out of it, right? That's different to in a healthier relationship where it's not toxic, but someone's like, look, the way you talk to me is a bit harsh. Can you just work on your delivery a bit, soften it a bit? You can work on that if you love the person. There's many things you can work on in a healthy dynamic, right? That won't make you walk out the door. But there are some things that are going to cost you so much personally. If you have to self-abandon, right? This is going to be such a painful thing. You don't exist in a relationship the minute you have to self-abandon. So they're not having a relationship with you anyway. So what's the point? Yeah, that should never have to happen. If it is happening, it's not a true relationship, because it's not a relationship with a true you, and it's dangerous to your health. You can use communication, and people don't communicate because they get nervous, but you are allowed to communicate. Even if you were having like friends, what do people call it? Friends with benefits, or whatever that is, you can still communicate and say, look, I know we're not in a serious relationship yet, but I would appreciate you letting me know if you are seeing other people at the same time. I don't know if I'll be okay with that. You can still communicate standards with people and then make a choice. And the choice is yours. If you're having to self-abandon, you're now it's very dangerous for you. You're literally doing something that's going to hurt your health. All right, my loves, if you want to join us when you still can by Sunday, lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.